Okay, let's hop into this week. Welcome in, ye old fam, fantasy players. Andrew's on with us today.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How is everybody feeling? Actually, you know what? Let's start with Andrew. Andrew, how are you feeling after week two? Spencer, we'll get to
I
you.
feel like I mean, it feels good to win, but I feel like I got lucky because of Tua backpacking my whole team.
I was gonna say when I was thinking about kind of how we'd lead off the episode today. I feel like if you had Tua, you had Josh Allen, maybe Kyler and Lamar, you must have won your week, right? And then I
Hard to lose with
saw
40 points.
which matchup was it? I think it was oh, and Jalen Hurts. And then I saw this matchup, and I look at Sarah versus Veronica, and Sarah put up 33 point, just about 33 points with Jalen Hurts, and still takes the L. I was like, oh, that's gotta feel fucking bad, dude.
Do
Putting up
you want to start?
33. I can't even get my quarterback to score over 20.
Do
So
you want to start with that one?
no, no,
I
no,
think
no. We got to
we
do a
can.
couple things first. Couple things
All right.
first. First of all, Spencer, you're fucking bad. You're trash. 0-2. Get
I
good.
am. I am in fact 0-2.
We'll see
I have
you
not
next
cracked
year.
100 yet.
You'll get
Um,
there.
Spencer, I want your percent odds that you win the championship this year.
Percent odds I win
Yeah.
but not even just make the playoffs, win the
Give me your
championship.
give me your percentage to make the championship starting 0-2, and then give me your percent odds that you think you win the championship. Lance is
I'd
out. I
go.
saw you
I'd
drop Lance
go
already.
less than less than 10% that I win the championship. I'd go like 3% chance I win the championship.
3%. Odds you make the playoffs.
I it's up to 7 now. I'd say I give myself 20% chance to make the playoffs.
I will say this, Spencer. I did the math. You bench Trey Lance and start Carson. You bench DK Metcalf and play Allen Robinson, and you win your week
Yeah, I
by.
could see that.
No, I did the math. You do win by 2 points. So
Even if he played Evan Ingram over Tanyan, he also wins his matchup. Like with the two swaps, like instead of doing
oh,
DK for Allen Robinson, like if he did
I see what you're saying.
Ingram for
Yes.
Tanyan, that still
Yeah.
wins it.
I mean, I don't know. Why wouldn't you start Carson over Trey Lance? You fucking awful, Spencer.
He's just
Bro,
having a
we
rough
were
start to the
you
year.
you know what happened. Don't even
I'll
go at me
say,
on that.
as the owner of Trey Lance in both of my dynasty leagues, I am distraught. I am torn. I'm hurting. Uh, that shit sucks so bad for just the person in general, Trey Lance. That's awful.
It's it's tough. You can't predict injuries. Quarterback and tight end putting up a combined 4 point something points. I'm not gonna win that week any day of the week. So
Yeah,
I left the W out there, but
it's
we'll bounce
it was
back.
a rough one. I am curious. I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up at the end just to see like scoring leaders and that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, we'll go over that at the end. We'll go through the matchups first. Quick shout out to Sean from first to worst. Literally was the highest scorer last week. The lowest scorer this week. He put up 69.76. That is just
Yeah, that
that
hurts.
is a yikes.
Bold
I
move to
I
play double tight
I was
end,
gonna
I will
say I
say.
was looking at his matchup. I was like, what happened? Bro put two tight ends in. Even if he had played Kadarius Toney, who had I think 2 receptions for 0 yards, he still would have had a point, and that was more than Aguebanam put up. So that
Yeah,
feels bad.
I mean, take a look at his bench. It's not like there's a lot of help going on
there's
I
there.
no
under
more points to find there.
I know, but at the same time, it's like, oh, that's total for, is that, oh, that's projected for next week that I'm looking at. There's the 1 point for Tony. Okay, Palmer, I don't know if Palmer was on his bench going into Sunday already. He probably benched him before the Thursday night matchup. Uh, Rex Burkhead is just, I don't know, that guy's like 32 years old, and then he's just got, got some rookies on there, so we'll see if
Yeah.
Sean can, he's 1-1. I mean,
I mean, his team's not bad. Like Devontae Adams usually puts up more than 2 receptions for
yeah.
12 yards, stuff like
Better
that.
record than me, man.
He also, good thing he has two tight ends because Dalton Schultz, I believe, is dealing with an injury. So we'll see if he makes it into the Monday Night Football game. Um, let's also jump to, I believe Benny Dew is our highest scorer. 136.72 from Ben.
It's a
Carried
great week.
carried by the 30-point Nick Chubb week and the 42-point week from Lamar, which dude, there were some crazy
Hey,
games this weekend, man.
don't knock the Giants kicker dropping 17 for him too.
All right,
though.
yeah, Graham Gano's. I think he must have been the highest kicker this week. If he wasn't, it was
probably.
close.
Yeah, I feel bad for your dad in that matchup, like because Keenan Allen is in Ben's starting lineup, doesn't play. Diggs gets almost 40, and you still can't like come close.
I was
It
gonna
was a
say
rough week.
Ben puts up the highest week with didn't swap out Keenan, who was out for the game. Still
And
has the
still
most
the
points.
highest scorer in the whole
Ben,
league.
get your shit together. Also, Nathan, get destroyed and get your shit together because you put in an injured kicker and an injured Alvin Kamara, which may not have helped you because I put up the second most points this week. That being said, we can start with this matchup since we're already here. So Dad versus Ben. Let's see. Dad is now 1-1. Ben is 2-0. Does anyone remember who Ben beat last week? Because he's off to a pretty good start.
I believe he beat Mom.
That sounds like
I don't remember.
That sounds like it could be right. I'm sure there's a way to go back a week.
Oh
here,
no, he
but I
beat me. He beat me last week.
I don't use the web browser enough to really know what to click on
He
for
he,
anything to
he
work
beat
anymore.
me last week, James.
Yeah,
Oh, he
he
beat
put up
you last week, okay.
114 last week too. So
Not bad. Ben's off to a pretty good start.
Yeah.
Checking his depth. I mean, his depth's not. He's got Michael Thomas on his
Michael
bench.
Thomas, jeez,
And I mean,
he could have easily
yeah, I was
plugged him
gonna
in for Keenan Allen.
start
Finish with
Michael
150.
Thomas, and yeah, he's putting up 150. That would have been the highest score throughout the season so far in our league.
Yeah,
So
I mean that, and Jonathan Taylor had a very mediocre game. Like that could have been worse. Like his team's pretty good.
yeah, what did Jonathan Taylor have? He put up 6.8 points.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess the Colts were just complete dog shit, so it doesn't matter. But
Yeah, the Jags played out of their mind.
So
Jaguars.
Ben's gonna be a team to beat. I think he came in third last year if I remember correctly. So
That sounds right.
I don't remember, but yeah, he's definitely got a really good team, especially if Lamar can put up 40 every game for him.
Just a quick reminder to those who aren't setting their lineups with players injured. There's money in this league, just so you know. If you win, you get like Spencer. What's the prize pool for this one?
I believe it's 200 for first, 100 for second, and 50 for third. I think.
There you go. Easy
Yeah.
money. Dad's team.
His running backs are
Yeah.
like Singletary and Stevenson. I don't love, but his like tight end solid with Travis Kelce. Diggs insane. 148 for 3 touchdowns
The
and
rest of his
didn't
team,
play the
yeah.
fourth quarter.
Jerry Jeudy's a question mark. He's going to be a big hit or miss all year because Courtland Sutton, I mean, as we kind of all predicted, I think at least I thought it that way, that Courtland Sutton would just be the go-to number one. Jeudy's kind of that hit or miss guy.
Jeudy just got hurt though. It says he's considered day to day after
Right.
X-rays return negative.
Yep.
So
He I think he went down early in that game too, so that's unfortunate. But
yeah,
Devin
it's the one catch.
Singletary is just unlucky this year because the Bills just go up 40 in the first quarter and they don't need him. They were playing James Cook half the game last night.
The whole fourth quarter was just
Singletary's
James
on the bench by
I mean,
like start of the
Josh-
second half.
Josh Allen went to
rested
the
him for the
bench too, right?
playoffs.
Von Miller sat.
They're all sat. They go up. They're up by
everybody, yeah.
31. Also, that
Yeah.
just reminded me. Quick shout out to the Browns for throwing a 13-point lead with
Oh
less
my
than 2
gosh.
minutes left on the clock. I don't know how you do that, but that
onside kick was clutch.
Anyone start Joe Flacco this week? Because I think he had a
No.
pretty good score. No, he didn't. That went through already.
I
Nobody
sat
started
Garrett
it.
Wilson, who
I'm
went off.
Say that again, Garrett Wilson.
I sat him in one of my leagues, and he torched.
Well, that was
yeah.
his first week of actually having production, right? Was he healthy week 1?
I think so. And Breece Hall did a lot better too, who I've also been sitting just because I don't really know what he's going to be yet.
I don't think I've started him yet. I have him in 2 leagues, and I don't think I've started him yet, just because I'm waiting for like that week 3, week 4 pop off. But it's gonna be tough because the Jets are throwing the most in the like. Joe Flacco has 102 pass attempts through 2 weeks.
Wow,
Mind you,
that's insane.
Justin Fields through 2 weeks, I think has like 28.
Yeah, I just heard a stat that he has 15 completions in his first 2 games.
That is just it's
That's
wild.
rough. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna move on
Elite.
from this matchup. I think who's next here? Sarah versus Veronica. This one was close.
So we were watching this game, both games, because it's both Monday night games, where it was coming down to was Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen going to put up more points, and we were getting a little nervous when like Jalen Hurts had like 30 by half, and Josh was sat, and we're like, oh, she only needs like 2 more touchdowns, and she's going to beat her, but it kind
It
of
didn't
settled out.
didn't happen, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. So like, good for Veronica. Her team's pretty good. Like her running backs are underproducing, and like her team's pretty solid.
Yeah, Kareem
Yeah.
had an off week. Zeke is just I don't know what's going on with Zeke. And they're
You'd think with Dak going down, Zeke's going to get even more touches, but it's just not panning out.
I mean, even if he is getting the touches, they know that they're going to be running, right? Like Cooper Rush isn't going to freaking throw down you, so it's
true.
either Zeke or nothing.
But then you look
True.
at Tony Pollard's production too, and I think he probably outscored Zeke fantasy wise, but if he did, it was close. I think Tony Pollard probably only had like 8 points or something like that this week.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Josh Jacobs, even with an overtime game, gets 8. Like Jamar Chase getting 8.
Yeah,
that-
Jamar's gonna. What is he at? Like 30 targets already on the season or something?
Well, Joe
Like,
Burrow
dude.
can't do anything. Joe Burrow's gotten sacked, I think, 13 times to start the season already. I think he got sacked 7 times in week 1 and 6 times last week. He's still on pace to get sacked like 100 times this year.
He is definitely leading the NFL in sacks. Jamar Chase has 25 targets through 2 games.
I know it was close to 30. It's insane.
Yeah,
bro.
he's gonna get his. He had a fine week 1, I think, right? I think he had a score week 1.
Yeah, it says he's ranked 13th overall for wide receivers. He had 24 week 1.
He'll be fine. I
It'll pan out.
am mad at the Bengals for losing to the Cowboys, though.
Yeah,
The
true.
Cowboys some confidence before going to MetLife to play the Giants, which is whiteout week apparently, by the way. So hopefully the whole stadium's white.
Taking a peek at Sarah's team, like Jalen Hurts carrying it, James Conner. I think he got hurt like partway through the
He-
game.
That's kind of been the story of James Conner's whole career, though. He just gets banged up. He plays through it. He gets banged up
Mhm.
more. She's still
Yeah.
rolling out the Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth stack, but I can't even blame her because the tight end landscape in the league is just so hard to come by right now. Like, look, Dawson Knox on probably the best offense in football put up 6.1. You got Sean with I think a total of like 4 points from his tight ends stack that he had
His stack
this
tight end.
week. Cole
Yeah.
Kmet has 0 receptions through 2 weeks. Who's catching the ball in Chicago?
Well, there's been 13 completions in 2 weeks, and it's not Mooney and it's not Komet.
But they pulled out a win
don't
week
know.
1. So who knows what's going on there?
Is Montgomery just catching all the checkdowns?
I don't
Like, is
even.
that what
I mean,
those
I'm sure he's
I
got
don't
a few receptions, but it's just like they're just going like 3 and out, and then like defense will score like 7 points, and like that's the win.
I
Yeah.
just feel like the Bears aren't really doing that hot right now.
I mean, that was
no,
expected.
yeah, the Bears. We all kind of expected the Bears to suck going into the year. Hey, they have
Sarah
a win
with
though.
Garrett Wilson on her bench. God damn.
Who?
The guy I was talking about a minute
Sarah
ago,
has.
Garrett Wilson.
Did you say
Yeah.
Sarah has? Okay, because I'm like,
Yeah,
looking
I
at-
have him in a
you said.
different league. But
I thought you
yeah.
said Garrett with Garrett Wilson, and I was like, this is Sarah's team.
No, literally, if Sarah started a defense that didn't get freaking just absolutely
I-
destroyed, and
In
a
her
kicker
defense-
who isn't on a anemic offense, she probably wins that week.
What do you
in
guys
her
think
defense,
for
Indy was
Sarah?
a smart start.
Yeah, I started Indy in I think Casual Sunday. I think they put
I
up
started him in one of
0
my
points
leagues,
for me.
thinking that yeah.
Sarah
For the
moving
record, I
forward,
picked the
though,
Jags to win that game, and
You did.
I stand by my decision.
It was a good call.
Props to you, man.
Sarah moving forward, I don't know if she benches Juju next week or what, but if she just swaps out Juju with Garrett Wilson, I think Joe Flacco is going to keep feeding Garrett Wilson, and he looked great playing in that game. I don't know if you guys saw some of
He
his.
did.
He
I
Yeah.
did
was
not.
wide open on a lot of plays. She's got to figure out a little bit of running back depth, though. She'd be okay, actually. I mean, JD's not too bad. He's gets like 6 receptions a game, so
Yeah,
she'll
Melvin
be.
Gordon had an okay week, 47 yards. Like
She'll
a
be
touchdown
okay
makes that a
moving
good
forward, I
week.
think. Yeah. All right. Anyone got any more thoughts on this one before we move on to Spencer's atrocious week?
No,
I'm ready for
no more.
Spencer's week.
Oh boy, here we go. Spencer went into Christopher Perney's house.
We can let Spencer take us through his matchup.
Yeah, give us your thoughts on what happened, Spencer.
Okay, for the record, if you recall Sunday, we got busy with food and dishes. I wanted to swap in Carson Wentz. It didn't happen. Trey Lance died. So, there's that. I'm not going to win
Yeah.
the week after my quarterback goes down dropping 2 points. So that's already the L.
He had 2.5.
Whatever.
Right, yes.
Robert Tanyan was my Hail Mary of a play.
Like I said, all tight ends suck. Look at Evan Engram though.
I got Ingram on my bench. I'm a little hopeful if the Jags can get their groove that maybe he might be serviceable.
Oh,
But
quick thought, Spencer. I believe Evan Engram has 10 or 11 catches on like 12 or 13 targets this year. He has like a 90% catch rate. Where the hell was that in New York?
I don't know. Maybe it was DJ. Can't throw a good ball.
I think DJ throws too fast of a ball sometimes.
Like
Like sometimes he throws these little 7-8 yard darts, and Engram's just he's got weak grip strength, I guess. I don't know.
Chill out,
You know what it
man.
is? It's the hair. Look at his hair. He
he's a
shaved
new
it all.
man.
Yeah. He can just feel
He's
the
more,
breeze
more
a little bit better.
aerodynamic.
He had to shave it for the Jacksonville weather.
Probably.
Any hope for J.K. Dobbins in the future on your team, Spencer?
Honestly, no, not much. It's probably going to go down as my worst pick this year.
He was a healthy scratch, huh? I think they said he's fully healthy. They just are being cautious with him.
I think it's something like that.
I actually think he sat out again.
Yeah, but I want to say they're just trying to be careful because they know how serious. If I remember correctly, he had a torn ACL, meniscus damage, MCL, and PCL damage. That's like 5 out of 6 ligaments in your knee.
I mean, just the fact that he was practicing, it seemed like he was pretty confident he was going to go. But, I mean, we don't have to talk about Dobbins. It's probably just going to take up a bench spot on my fucking team all year. And I'm,
Hey,
yeah, that'll be how that goes.
you
But
can always
I don't
drop
know.
him.
Got to figure out the quarterback. Got to figure out the tight end.
Drop Dobbins right now. I'll pick him up.
Tyreek Hill is going to carry my team single-handedly to the playoffs if I manage to make it. Younghoe Koo pooped the bed for me after
What's-
not doing great last week, I should say. So that was a
Tyreek's number
bummer.
4 on the year so far. How did he do week 1?
He did
Oh, this is
okay.
his
Like he
entire
got 14
career stats.
points, so he had 8 catches for 94 yards.
Yeah, he's gonna be good. And I mean, it seemed like Tua
Yeah.
could actually hit him and Waddle. So yeah,
He's
Dolphins
got
are.
25 targets through 2 weeks with Waddle on his team. Like that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, they have. I think they have the best wide
Brandon,
receiver
I
core in the
don't
league.
know how many offenses are going to play where they're ending up down like 3 scores in the second half, but who knows?
Spencer,
Yeah, but
you have to take. I'm asking you because Andrew's biased. You can have Josh Allen and Gabe Davis or Tyreek and Waddle on your team. Not fantasy wise, just real NFL football.
Tyreek and Waddle or Tua and Waddle?
Tyreek and Waddle or Gabe Davis and Josh Allen. I'm sorry,
What?
Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs.
Oh, I mean, you gotta take Hill and Waddle on that.
I
I
mean,
mean,
as a
it's-
Bills fan, I'm still gonna say it's Hill and Waddle. Like Diggs and Davis are fantastic, but like
I don't know,
Hill
man.
is just
Diggs
so much better.
went off last night. Did you
Yeah,
guys see that
but
clip after he scored, or at the end of the game he said, "I'm him,"
I didn't see that.
something like that?
No, I did not see that. But
By
no,
the way,
he-
James, I can't remember. This thing just like stopped recording last time. I don't know if you're keeping track of that.
I purchased the software so we can record forever.
Oh, okay.
Well, your
all right.
team had a rough week, Spencer. You can bounce back. I think maybe you're 0-2. I started the Family League 0-5 last year. I missed
You
the
still make the
playoffs, so it
playoffs?
doesn't mean any. I missed the
Oh,
playoffs, I
that's
believe.
true.
We'll see
Let's
what
talk about
happens.
Chris's team a little bit because he won this one. Yeah, I mean just like average. It looks like decent to average performances from like his whole team. Like Kyler's
Everybody
fine.
did pretty well.
There's
Cooper
Tony
Kupp
Pollard,
as usual.
8.1.
Yeah.
So Pollard did outscore Zeke. Mark Ingram is an interesting play, but I mean you could have done worse this week, man. This was a crap week for running backs. So I mean 5.3. It's like but Cooper Cup saves the day for him. I mean, he
Yeah.
starts anyone else
Yeah.
aside from Cooper Cup. I think it's a closer game.
The Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson split is going to be interesting going forward.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it is.
just saw that. I didn't even realize that Akers played in that game, but I think I don't. What did Henderson have? You have Henderson 10.7. Akers with 7.2. I'll have to take a look and see how many touches and receptions they each got.
What stands out to me is that Mike Evans is now suspended, and he still has Godwin, who's hurt, and like he has Sky Moore. Like I don't know who he's gonna reach to for his wide receiver next week.
Yeah,
Maybe Michael Gallup will
Godwin's.
finally start week 3.
I think Michael Gallup's supposed to be out week 3. If I'm Chris,
You're gonna have to play Traylon Burks and your wide receiver too, and
well,
then play
he's
Cam
gotta
Akers.
he's gotta drop someone. Maybe.
The
Like
14-man league, there's not much out there, but he's
there
gonna have
isn't. There's some stuff on the waiver though. There's some
Yeah.
sneaky
I have
plays.
noticed that, which I'd like other people's input on as well, just for future reference. I think with limiting the bench spots, it's made it slightly more bearable to try and find something serviceable on the waiver.
I
But
agree.
I don't
Remember
know.
last year I was looking for pickups, like, I'd see like the third string tight end on a team get a touchdown, and I'm like, all right, that guy, I could look at the
I'm gonna
waivers,
play the hot hand.
look at the waivers, and I'm like, oh wait, no, it's like Shannon or someone has like 6 tight ends on their bench, so never mind.
Like I think it helped receivers, but I think running backs are just so few and far between that like there's not much you could do to help that. Like if I go to the waivers right now, I have to go get Zach Moss.
Oh yeah, running backs, you're pretty much looking for like a handcuff who's gonna step in as a backup if needed.
No, I think
Yeah.
I think the 5 is fine, especially with the 2 IR spots, because like last week I put, I'm trying to remember. Bounce to my team really quick. I'm looking at the wrong team. Yeah, you can see it right here. I put Michael Pittman and Wandale on my IR. Picked up Russell Gage and Jeff Wilson Jr. Didn't use either of them, but I had the option because I get the double IR spot. So,
Yeah. IR spots are definitely clutch.
yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to the next matchup. The shittiest scorer in the league up against Shannon. So that was Sean versus Shannon. I'm trying
Yeah,
to look and
and
see. Shannon, let's see, she would have beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other teams in the league, so that's almost half. Could have done worse. She put up 103.86, which like, oh, I'm sorry, I counted. That doesn't matter. I think that's right. 6 teams.
yeah, I mean I think she had a decent week, right? Like a lot of her players put out some average performances. Like we've said before, tight ends are hard to find points with. Penny was really her only like kind of weak spot. Everything else was fine.
Well, she
Like
had a
Russell Wilson
dolphin on her
better.
team, so
If
you
you
know.
had a dolphin this week, you probably won.
You would
Like-
think, right?
Like if she had started Daniel Jones, she would have scored more points at quarterback than Russell Wilson. I don't.
Yeah,
Russ,
but by 2, it's
Russ
not
can't
really.
cook, man. I don't know what's up with him. I
He'll
did
figure
want
it
to
out. It's a new
say
team.
I mean, she won, so like, take
No
that.
point in.
Uh,
Yeah.
but AJ Brown, I think, would have had a better week in that Eagles game had he not gotten banged up a little bit, and had they not been so far ahead. Like they just didn't even need him at that point. So
Yeah, but that's kind of his MO though. He gets banged up and then he plays about 3 games the rest of the season.
he went back into the game. Okay, he got a little banged up.
They
He
were
went
just
back
up
into the game,
24/7.
but when they
Yeah.
went up by 1 million, they're like, "Yeah, we don't need you, AJ. You're our, I think, highest paid wide receiver on this team. So go sit on the bench
Oh,
for a
for
bit."
sure. Yeah.
Oh, I think I just moved the screen recording on accident. Let me reposition that.
No, but I think
Hopefully
as we said
nobody-
last week, Shannon's got a pretty good team that I think once it starts firing on all cylinders will definitely bring her pretty far.
Like Henry was limited to 25 yards against the Bills. That's not going to happen very often.
See, the thing is like I was wondering this too. Henry's had 2 bad weeks in a row. Giants stopped him a fair amount. He had an okay week. His week was saved. I don't know if you saw. He had like 20 yards or something. He had a touchdown.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get that touchdown, he puts up like 2 points this week. And it's like everybody, like they have Treylon Burks and that's it. So everybody knows you just put 8 in the box. It's like Derrick Henry could just get stuffed all year long.
especially when they're trailing in games, and like you can't just feed Derrick Henry when you're down 30. Like you have to try something else.
Right. By the way, Shannon, if you actually watch this, I'm not gonna tell her to drop Hayden Hurst, but I just don't know if you need to roster 2 tight ends.
I don't know. Without friggin'
I mean, Hayden Hurst outscored Hawkinson,
it is.
so
He did, but Hawkinson's one of those guys that's like he's one of the better
you
tight ends
gotta
in the
start
league.
him, and he's not gonna put up a
You
ton
gotta
of the
start
money
him, and he's
for
probably
him,
gonna
so.
get outscored every week. So Dalton
Yeah.
Schultz is injured. Yes, no.
Questionable, dealing with PCL sprain to his right knee, being viewed for next week. Because it's a Monday game, they might give him an extra day to, you know.
I'm
We'll see
interested
how
to
it goes.
see Sean's team next week because Joe Burrow not gonna stay this way all season long unless he keeps getting sacked 6, 7 times. Right? Saquon probably will be fine for the year as long as he remains healthy. I'm concerned about Etienne.
Robinson's taken over.
He really is. He still has Adams and Higgins, so that's good news for him. Although,
Great duo there.
like the Bengals really need to step it up.
Just please figure out this
the
tight end
tight end
stack.
flex position because I don't want to look at your roster and see another 0.8 points from 2 tight ends in 2 position slots there.
Yeah, that just feels bad.
I'm
Like,
not
I
even
don't
going to
even-
apologize for roasting Sean for that one. Like, you had to have had a better option on the waiver wire than to start Albert Aguebanam, right? Like, someone was there.
I just want
I
to
mean,
hear his
he-
argument as to why he chose that.
Now-
He got some targets last week. I could see what the thought process was.
This is interesting though because Sean does have Brian Robinson on the bench, and I know, shoot, what's his name? The starting running back on Gibson.
Yeah.
On the Commanders, he's had the, pretty much the workhorse role aside from some other guys there. But when Brian Robinson comes back, supposedly they love Brian Robinson, and Gibson probably was going to be not even starting this season until Robinson got shot in the ass. So like when he
Right.
comes back, I don't know.
I guess we'll see.
Might take him a game or two, but he might take over the running back role there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about Joshua Palmer to know if he's like anything great, but he has 12 targets through first
He's
2
fine.
weeks.
He's been in the league a few years. He's good receiver. The only reason he got a decent amount of targets this week is just because of Keenan Allen being ruled out for the game. So
True, Mike Evans just took over, but yeah, I mean, I think other than his tight end situation and then like the Etienne question mark, I think he can definitely turn this around. He's 1-1, so he's in a good enough spot to bounce back.
Sarah just texted us and said, since we're answering fantasy questions right now, is this one of the leagues where your defense can get negative points? If they
Yes,
suck
if
at
they're
all,
really
yeah.
bad.
All of
If-
our leagues are.
If they get scored on what?
If they-
You probably have to get scored on, I think, over 24, 27, and then not do anything else on defense.
At least that if it might be higher. I think we might have put it like 28 points or something like.
But scoring wise, your sacks get you points, interceptions, fumbles,
Hmm.
safeties.
Yep. Kick
Good
returns.
points.
It's all special
So,
team points.
anything
So.
like that. But yeah, you can go negatives, and I believe it probably happened a bit last year because defenses are so hard to predict, man. Like,
Yeah.
any other thoughts on this matchup, guys?
Well, I had on
No, I still think Sean's got a decent team. I think he just had an unlucky week.
Does Sean bounce back next week?
Who's he playing?
It's a good question. You want to pull that up?
do a little look ahead. Let's see, Sean.
The real question is, who are the Bengals playing next week? Because he has Joe Burrow and T. Higgins on his roster.
Sean plays Sarah next week.
Sean versus Sarah next week. Sarah's
Mm,
1-1. Sean is 1-1.
And the Bengals play the Jets.
It'll be a good matchup for those two.
Bengals play the Jets. That could be a shootout. We'll see. What we got here? Garrett versus Mom. Our former fantasy champion starts off 0-2 this year.
She's having a tough start for sure.
But her
He only lost by 6 points to Garrett, bro. That's tough.
And she lost very unfortunately to me last week because of Dak Prescott getting hurt.
This one
So
was
she's having a real unlucky start.
This one was close, and Garrett somehow squeezed in this win, even with a 0 from DJ Chark and a 0 from Cole Kmet.
Dude, Aaron
That's
Jones
astounding.
30 points and then 27 defensive points.
The Saints
effort by the-
sucked this past Sunday, dude. They
so
were
bad.
Imagine if they didn't get the field goal, bro. That would have been like
Oh, gosh.
that would have been an even bigger week for him. That
Oh,
would have been
does
like a 30
does the-
point something.
Does the jump from 7 to 10 make it decrease?
The jump from 0 points to I think any points I think is like a 5-point jump or something.
But they
Well, they had
scored
10.
10.
Oh, I thought it was 3. Okay, all right. I think
No,
it's only like a 2 or 3
interceptions.
point. Yeah. So, but still,
Yeah, Jameis did what Jameis does sometimes, and I mean the
Yeah.
LASIK surgery didn't help. I guess he still couldn't see anything.
Still
in
can't
that
see.
game.
Garrett's got a good team. He's got some questions still with the flex position, and
I think Mom's team going forward, she just had a rough week, like, because it seems like James Robinson's going to be fine. Miles Sanders isn't going to be anything insane this year, but they're actually using him. Like, he's getting more
showing-
rush attempts than he used to. If Derek Carr steps up a little bit, they need to use Kyle Pitts more in Atlanta, probably, because
Drake London is dominating Atlanta right now.
and also if I were Mom, like MVS is one of those guys that I'm looking at. Like, I don't even know if do you roster MVS still, or do you just drop him and pick someone else up? Because this is week 2 of doing like
Yeah.
literally nothing, right?
If I'm her, I consider starting Tyler Higbee next week. I don't know. Like, do you sit Pitts until he does something?
Higbee, that was
Like,
his
Pitt-
first good week though. Like Higbee, oh no, Higbee had a couple catches week 1, right?
Yeah, Pitts is ranked 36 out of tight ends.
But it's
That's
mind blowing because like, what are they doing in Atlanta? He's their best player. Right?
Cordell
Like,
Patterson, Drake London, those are their only other options. Like, does Mariota just not like tight ends?
I don't know. I guess
what
not.
was the? I
And they
guess
put
maybe
up 27 against the Rams. Like, they had offense.
But Pitts wasn't even used that game, I don't think either.
I don't know.
CD had a better week.
For having Cooper Rush throw to him, I would take 11.
She stuck with Evan McPherson too. Who,
Hey, he pulled through 13.
yeah, he was tough last week for her.
He had a bounce back week. Yeah, I think she just has to figure out her flex spot.
She didn't listen to us.
She'll
She's
pull
still
out.
rostering 2 kickers. So
I don't think she actually watched the whole thing last time. So
probably not. Also, I don't think you need Matt Ryan on your team either. If you look to go get some more skilled positions on there, maybe swap MVS onto your bench for next week, because until he does something, like,
Yeah.
it's ugly. Hey, we're moving on to Andrew and Beth's match, which, like, ugh, Beth is having a tough time because on paper her team is not bad.
Her running backs are great. They're just not putting up anything.
Right, like Cook and Fournette both had 2 bad weeks. I think both of them could bounce back like super strong next week. I don't know who Tampa Bay plays, but I believe the Vikings play the Lions next week.
They do. And I don't think Cook's going to have 17 yards against the Lions.
I would argue that he probably will have much more than 17 yards. Hopefully
Yeah,
we'll get into the end
probably.
zone. Because, holy
yeah, I think. Well, I mean, the Lions apparently have a really good offense this year, surprisingly. But I don't think that the Vikings will be playing down 3 touchdowns again for most of the game. So
Probably not.
agreed.
I think Kirk Cousins just getting tunnel vision on Justin Jefferson a little bit. He's used Thielen a little bit more and just kind of spread the ball around.
Bro, I think it's just the Kirk Cousins Monday night curse. He just sucks ass on Monday night.
That's what
It's
everyone
just
says.
bad.
It's not even just it's like prime time. Kirk Cousins like can't play, right? I don't know.
Facts.
He needs to hide in the 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock window. Like, put on another game.
He just like doesn't like when people watch him, I guess. I don't know.
Stadium full of
He'll be
40,000
fine
fans is
though.
fine. Yeah.
Looks like the Bucks play the Packers next week, so that should be a good game.
Who is Aaron Rodgers playing week 3? Because that's gonna be
Bucks.
another big fact. You said the Bucks?
At
Mm.
Bucks.
At
Yeah.
Bucks. Okay. That one. I mean, we'll see
He's
if
gonna have a
Tom
tough time.
Brady
The
has.
Bucks defense is crazy.
The Bucks defense is crazy. That being said, the Bucks offense has been hardly there as well. Like Tom Brady looks kind of off. You got Godwin injured. You got Julio injured. You got Mike Evans suspended next week. So that's their 3
His
starting wide
name's
receivers.
Scotty Miller, their top receiver right now.
Scotty Miller. You got Russell Gage. They have Perryman. Rashad Perryman is on that team, I think.
But nonetheless, I think, yeah, her team, like you said, on paper is fine. Like Devontae Smith finally decided
at
to
it.
play.
Amari
Like-
Cooper had her best score this week.
Yeah.
If
my
you
whole
would've
team did
Looked at
okay.
her
Like,
team. I don't know, man. I
Looks
was
like
gonna
she's gonna
say
get
too.
Kittle back next week too.
I was just gonna say that. And she can probably get rid of Noah Fant after. As soon as Kittle's back, she can make some room for another receiver there, another running back there, or something like that. And
she'll be all right. I think, 0-2 is harsh for her team.
yeah. Yeah, your bench is pretty good there, Drew.
Yeah, it's
I love
it's
Breeze going
definitely pretty good.
forward. Gabe Davis is gonna be great. Just got a little banged up. I did not
do have a
realize
deep
Drake
team.
London went off like this. 20.6 points.
Yeah, he had a
Are
really
you
good
s-
game.
Are you starting him in any position next week?
I have a hard choice to make because everybody performed well. Like even Damian Harris played well. So like, do I sit Curtis Samuel or Debo to put in Gabe Davis, or do I sit Harris to play Gabe Davis?
I suppose it just depends on the matchups, right? Like if you've got Damian Harris in a tough matchup next week and you got Drake London in a good one, like, I
That's
guess it just
possibly
depends on the
what'll like
matchup.
shoot me in the foot this year is like overthinking the sit starts. Like
That's what
I gotta
happens when you've
figure
got
out.
that good bench depth. When you've
Yeah,
got when you got bench players that are consistently putting up like 10 to 18 points every week, it's like, shit, start this guy this week over one of my like pure starters.
Yeah,
Tough
I mean,
choices
I
to make.
picked up Curtis Samuel, so I mean that worked out for me. I got to figure out my defense and kicker, like 1 point between the both of them.
I mean,
if that's your worst problem, I think you're doing pretty well.
right.
Yeah, I mean Joe Mixon being my lowest scoring running back when I start 3 is pretty good. Tua putting up 39, like I'm doing all right. So don't need to
Yeah, I
focus
mean,
on mine at all.
and you put up 122 with 1
Yeah.
point from defense and kicker, and that's 12 points behind me and 14 points behind the high score this week. So
Yeah.
yeah, you've got some pretty easy problems to fix. And now you're 2-0.
Yeah.
You are leading the NFC.
I am leading the NFC.
Let me just see really quick who is leading. Shannon is.
So it's Ben
Shannon
and Chris
is second
leading
in
the
the
AFC.
NFC, huh? Ben and Chris are leading the
Yeah.
AFC.
Yep. So Shannon and I. So there's only 4 undefeated teams. It's me, Shannon, Ben, and Chris. And then there's only
Nope.
4 0-2 teams.
A couple of weeks from now, this is gonna be interesting.
So does that bring us to our last matchup of
Yeah, I
you and
saved the
Nathan?
best for last.
Oh yeah, you can take us through your matchup.
Well, starting off with, not that it would have made much of a difference, but like, come on, Nate. You got Alvin Kamara ruled. He was ruled out like, I think it was day of actually. I think I got that notification like 11 o'clock, but still. You got money on the league. You got to put him in your. His only other
mean,
options were 2.9 points from Alexander Madison and 2.3 points from Kenneth Gainwell, though. So
Yeah, his running back depth is not ideal.
yeah, well, I mean, if Dalvin Cook goes down, it gets a lot better.
Yeah, but I mean his 1-2 combo of running backs like Kamara, Montgomery, if they're both playing, that's like hard to beat.
When his team gets healthy, though, I don't know how he's 0-2. Because like Brady's been sucking so far this year, but once Kamara's healthy, like his team's looking like his worst player is Adam Thielen. That's not a bad position to be in because Christian Kirk's going off on the Jags. Mark Andrews he had a really good week this week. Sutton finally had a good week, and Monty's the only bit of offense on the Bears. So
So he just needs to get a kicker who's going to play.
He needs a healthy kicker, and he needs we need to figure out if Alvin Kamara is going to be healthy this week, and then figure out what the hell's going on with Tom Brady. I mean, I just had like
Your team went off, man.
they sort of yeah. Well, I mean, come on, we all knew Mike Williams was going to be a smash, right? Keenan Allen's out.
Yeah.
They paid Mike Williams. He's getting paid like I think like 3 years,
lot.
70 or 80 million dollars. No, that can't. That's too much, right? Doesn't matter.
It's a
He's
big deal
good.
for a number 2.
And
you know what I mean? So.
I told Spencer going into this year that the Lions were going to have good fantasy players, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to go crazy. This is 2 weeks of Amon-Ra St. Brown going crazy. I don't have Swift in this league. I wasn't fortunate enough to get Swift in this league, but I have Swift in other leagues, and he's also going crazy. This was a bad start. This Kenyon Drake, I don't know what I was thinking there.
I
had
also
plenty
started
of
him in a
others.
different league, and I don't know. I basically I saw that Dobbins was out. I'm sure you saw the same thing. And you're like, all right, well, I guess I'll take a shot on Drake.
Correct, and I can never trust what's going on in San Francisco's backfield. Like my other plays weren't that good anyways, right? Like Chase got 4. I'm excited for Dameon Pierce. Because Rex Burkhead did not get most of the workload, so if Dameon Pierce can just step it up and be a consistent player, like I've got some okay running back depth there. But yeah, no, I agree. I saw he was out, and I was like, all right, I'll start Kenyon Drake, but they just threw and Lamar ran, so like that was all they
I
needed.
guess Wilson was the better call there, but I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know. It's always in hindsight, right? You're always like, oh man, I should have done this, but
Yeah.
I'm with you, man. Sometimes you just shoot a shot and it misses.
It was a nice, I'll say, like having Christian McCaffrey playing against the Giants, he put up, that's like right where I want him, right? I want him like at a nice 15 points, but also not destroying the Giants so the Giants can win. So that was a good outcome there.
A nice like 100 yards with no touchdowns.
No touchdowns.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, so that was
exactly.
that was pretty
That's
good.
ideal for fantasy.
And I got a little lucky with Logan Thomas too. I'm gonna keep rolling him out until he's not good again. But like, cause I played Cole Kmet week 1, 0 points, and I'm like, get this fucking guy out of my life. Like, I'm not doing this again. And oh, guess what? Week 2, 0 points. Garrett, watch out, bro. He's gonna put up another 0 for you next week.
Gotta find a tight end who's gonna catch a ball.
I heard Albert Aguebanam might become available if Sean drops him, Garrett.
Might be a trade happening. Take one of his 2 tight ends.
I'm sure you all see, by the way, I needed some room on my bench. I dropped Wan'Dale Robinson. Feels bad, but had to be done. So I think, Sean, your name is literally not all who Wan'Dale are lost. If you want to go grab Wan'Dale,
might as well grab the guy who you're named after.
You can have Kadarius Toney and Wan'Dale on your bench. So
there you go.
Get Rex Burkhead off of there. I wanted to see too, because that about covers it, right? I mean,
yeah,
nothing else to talk about in that matchup. I want to see too if I can. Let's see. What if we go to scoreboard here?
You're trying to do a look forward.
I'm not trying to. Well, okay. Right now I can see projections, but there's probably injured players in people's lineups here. I want to see if I go to standings. Let's see. Okay. So far. Oh, wow. Ben has scored 250 points.
Yeah.
Elizabeth coming in last with 151. Eek.
Shannon's only had 165 scored on her through 2 weeks.
That's something.
That's pretty lucky, yeah.
Her team's not bad though. She scored the 3rd most points, so it's like,
no, it's not bad.
A couple more points get scored up on her. She still probably wins some of those matchups.
Veronica's about an even split. 202 scored, 206 allowed.
So look at Garrett and I here. Garrett put up 200 total. I put up 213 total. Garrett's gotten scored on 227 points, and I've gotten scored on 226 points. And then same thing with Dad, who's put up 226, has gotten scored on 229. Just a little unlucky. Hang in there, fellas. You're going to get a good matchup one of these weeks.
I like looking at the playoff percentages because it has no idea. Like, nobody's below... Well, the only person below 30% is Spencer, so...
Yeah, that was about where I said I was. My guess was.
Wait, Spencer's below 30%?
Yeah, that projects him at 23% chance of making the playoffs.
How? Not that I'm shitting on Mom and Beth, but like, how are they both at 2 losses and yet Spencer has a lower percentage of making the playoffs?
My team's just shittier, I
Because
guess.
Mom and Beth both have a 32% chance. Is it? It must be division or something like that.
It shows 41% for Beth for me. I wonder if it's different in the app.
Might be a little. I'm looking at 32 for. Oh, I'm looking at Nathan right now. 41 on Beth. You're right. So Nathan and Mom have 32%. Spencer has
Well, we were saying
23%.
that Beth has a pretty good team. She's just been unlucky. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll keep being interesting.
Well, Andrew, you are in first place, and yet Shannon has a higher percentage chance of making the playoffs than you do by 3%. So that makes sense, right?
I mean, we have the same record, so it's hard to argue.
And then Veronica has 1% higher chance of making it than me, even though we're both 1-1. So that it all makes a lot of sense here.
Yeah, their calculations
There's an algorithm there somewhere, I'm sure.
probably.
All right, one more quick thing. Both. Okay, hang on. Let me read these off. Ben, Shannon, Dad, Garrett, Sarah, Beth, and Nathan all have made 0 moves. No waiver wires, no trade transactions, no drops, no pickups, no nothing. You're not gonna win if you don't start making some moves. So
Gotta play the waivers.
yeah, I mean you don't win in the draft. So
How
Alright.
did you check that out of curiosity?
I am on standings, and it's just showing me a little thing that's season stats, points scored, points against, all that stuff, and then the last category says moves.
Oh,
I-
that must be on
on
browser
browser.
only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm leading the league in moves with 5.
How many have I made?
Let's see. Sean has made 4. Chris has made 3. Drew, you've made 1
Ooh, on the board.
on the board. Did I say Spencer's? How many Spencer made? 2. 2 from Spencer, 2 from Mom. Hey, Mom actually made some moves. All right. That about wraps it up, I think.
Well, thanks for having me, boys.
Any
I
last
appreciate it.
thoughts? sure,
My last thought is
Spencer, who's your matchup? next
coming
week?
for you, Nathan. Not gonna go 0-3.
Yeah, give me real quick your guys your week 3 matchup and your prediction. Give me your score prediction.
I'm predicted to lose by 10.
No, like your thoughts on the prediction, not the actual
I think
projections.
fuck their prediction. I'm gonna crush it.
I wanted a number, but that's okay. I'm playing Shannon, who's 2-0. I'm gonna put up
bold prediction. I break 100 for the first time this season.
I like the
Pulling for you,
optimism.
man.
I'm gonna break the current record this week. I think I'm gonna put up 140, which will beat the points record I believe in this league so far. So
I'm going
shit
for
on Shannon.
my first time having a quarterback hit double digits this season. That's my goal is.
Hey, I'm right there with you, bro. Matt Stafford hasn't done anything. Drew, who are you playing against? What's your prediction?
So I play Veronica, and I think I can win it if her running backs keep staying kind of shitty. But if her running backs show up, I'm kind of toast. So I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna just throw out numbers. I'm gonna say like 112 to like 103. I pull it out.
I think Shannon puts up 40 points on me, and I score 140.
Yeah,
Just a slaughter fest.
be funny. You get it exactly right.
Yeah, just wait. All right, we'll see everybody next week.
See you guys.
Deuces.
Goodbye.